Imagine, if you would, for me, a world in which there is an award show, a prestigious award show, awarding those of the arts of their achievements. At this award show, stroll in a number of people, black and brown people, beaming smiles on their faces, excited for their opportunity to be celebrated for their artistic achievements. And yet when the time comes, those white people get up on stage, and it turns out they only celebrate their own kind, with all of the awards going to those of a pale and pasty complexion. One by one, those black and brown smiles fade, and only despair is left. Imagine, if you would, for me, dear viewer, this world, because this world is the one we inhabit right now. That's right, the BAFTAs only gave awards to white people, and this is apparently newsworthy and worthy of people spurging out about it on Twitter. Therefore, I thought we'd take a moment to laugh about the situation and just discuss, one, who cares about award shows in the first place?
I don't, because they often award things I think are derivative, crass and unartistic, but there we go.
I absolutely agree there. And two, is this a sign that, as many are, well, some are suggesting, that the woke is being put away? Is it that despite all of the gesturing towards woke ideals, these organisations are in fact going to just start awarding these awards based on merit? Rather than diversity quotas.
There's
on the
an
quality of a
implicit
film.
dunk there.
There is an implicit dunk there, but as we'll see from a clip of Joaquin Phoenix later on, they can't help but accidentally dunk on themselves, because I, for one, am shocked that Black Panther 2 Electric Boogaloo did not win any awards in any of these award ceremonies so far as I'm aware. Oh wait, no I'm not. It was bollocks. It was a terrible film. It was pants, and people who made it and were involved in it should be ashamed of themselves, because I'm sure you can do better. Anyway, I think it's relevant to promote a recent Comics Corner that Connor and I put out. We're filming a new one soon, but this one was about identity crisis, and it's kind of sideline stories as well. The sequel story, Cry for Justice, and also Superman 775, I think it was, which is What's So Funny About Truth, Justice, and the American Way, where Connor and I take some rather controversial stances. In that Cry for Justice, I didn't get to read the whole thing, but Connor tells me it was very good. Identity Crisis is very good. What's So Funny About Truth, Justice, and the American Way is not a very good story, which is controversial to some. So if you want to hear more of our reasoning for those takes, get a bronze tier membership at least, and that's only £5 a month, and you'll be able to watch the entirety of this video, and you should, because, as always, we put a lot of work into it. So, let's move on, shall we, to the BAFTA Film Awards 2023, and we can look at the full list of winners, and we can see what was awarded to who. So, for Best Film, we had in the nominees, we had Tar, which is that, I'll get onto that in a few minutes, because that's that film you may have seen clips of on Twitter, where loads of people were going, OMG, Cate Blanchett's character in this film gives amazing anti-woke monologue to obnoxious students. And they'll just play a clip from that where she just goes, well, if we judge everybody by their identity, then we're leaving out all of the other things that we can judge people by, like the quality of their character and stuff like that. And then there's Everything Everywhere All at Once, which I watched recently and is possibly the most overrated film
That's a tall order.
I've ever watched.
I've seen Magnolia.
I have not. Isn't that 3 hours long?
I hated it.
Is that
with
the
a
Lars
passion.
von Trier film?
I can't remember, but it was critically acclaimed, and I found it insufferably boring.
Oh, I bet. Then there was Elvis, which was a film that was celebrating Elvis and definitely not pointing out the hypocrisy of white people choosing a white person to represent rock and roll when it was really made by black guys, people. The Banshees of Inisherin, which I have watched and is a fantastic film.
I still need to watch that. It's on my to-watch list, though.
It's brilliant. If you get the opportunity, give it a watch. And All Quiet on the Western Front, which I have not watched, is a remake of the 1979 classic, and you say is very good. That won Best Film. Congratulations. But directed by a white person, starring mainly white people. Therefore, evil.
A film about World War II, covering the Western Front.
I know. Evil.
Didn't they know that it was
Have they not seen
a
the
multi-ethnic resistance against the
Have they not
the
played
evil
the
white
more
man?
recent Call of Duty games? They'll have understood just how diverse those wars were.
Magnolia was Paul Thomas Anderson, by the way.
Oh, okay. Is that the one with Tom Cruise in it?
Yes.
Yeah, I've not watched that. I've heard very mixed things. It's one of those films where people either say it's the best film ever, or like you say it was horribly dull and boring. So perhaps I might get something out of it, but that's for the future. Outstanding British film was won by The Banshees of Inisherin, the right choice as far as I'm concerned, but also Irish people now considered white, therefore evil. Irish people occupy a kind of unfortunate place, which is that if you want to score victim points, you can kind of classify Celts and Irish people outside of whiteness as far as it's going. Like that Frankie Boyle, that's right, you've got some victim points in you. You've got 1% victim.
I might be a straight white male, but I've got some victim points. No,
yes,
I'm joking, of course.
There you go. Like when Frankie Boyle did his New World Order show and they implied that white people hate Celtish people. Which,
not really.
No.
It's like the scene
in-
from Mad Men where it's just like, I feel sorry for you, and then John Hamm's character replies, I don't think about you at all. Is that,
it is. I mean, also the English
dynamic?
were literally ruled by Scottish kings for a while. I mean, it didn't end well, but we still were. We got outstanding debut by a British writer, director, or producer, Afterstunt by Charlotte Wells, who is apparently a lesbian but also white, therefore still a bit evil. And then finally, for the most important ones, I've got leading actress. Well, no, actually, no, this isn't the final one. We've got Cate Blanchett for Tar. Now, like I said, I just want to briefly mention this because I saw a lot of people, and it really did bug me, sharing the clips of this on Twitter of the anti-woke university professor that she's playing, who's a character called Lydia Tarr, schooling her students on CRT and why it's dumb to judge people by the colour of your skin, not the content of your character, and all that sort of stuff. Like, being woke is really dumb, actually. But the problem is, if you actually look at the context of the film, the people making it, and Cate Blanchett herself, Cate Blanchett is woke. She says she's not a big fan of the Hollywood culture right now, not allowing her to explore interesting and multi-dimensional characters. But in her personal life, she was still complaining about Elon Musk buying Twitter and how it's dangerous and how it's going to hurt marginalized people. She's still a feminist girl boss type. She's not somebody who disagrees with wokeness, except for the fact that it makes it more difficult for her to play interesting film characters. There's that. And then if you actually know the context of the film, the character that she is playing is a lecherous university professor / musical conductor who often takes the opportunity to, well, shall we say, takes advantage of some of the students that she is looking after.
Oh, yeah.
So, as far as I'm concerned, the implication that is being presented there is that only awful people with skeletons in their closet would disagree with cancel culture. Only if you're worried about being cancelled yourself because you're a disgusting scumbag bigot would you disagree with cancel culture.
I felt personally insulted there. I felt like you meant it.
No, I don't mean it. But perhaps
I'm joking.
Perhaps the next BAFTA will go to me for my outstanding performance on a podcast. That's a new category.
Podcast category, yeah.
Yeah. And then we've got leading actor, which is Austin Butler for the film Elvis, where he played Elvis.
Who would have thought, eh?
I know. The other nominees were Colin Farrell for The Banshees of Inisherin, Brendan Fraser for The Whale, Daryl McCormack for Good Luck to You, Leo Grande. I forgot to mention some of the other nominees for for leading actress were Viola Davis for The Woman King. What a shock that she didn't get that one, eh? I'm sure she put in a powerhouse performance of the African slavers. Ana de Armas for Blonde, which is a very controversial film, which basically to me sounds like Mulholland Drive, but done 10 times worse. Emma Thompson, I hate Emma Thompson, so I don't want her awarded anything. And Michelle Yeoh for Everything Everywhere All at Once. So once again, we can see there was some nice diversity. There was some nice diversity in the nominees. White woman. Australian European descended white woman wins the victory. Evil. Austin Butler once again. Evil. Supporting actress went to Kerry Condon for The Banshees of Inisherin. Evil. Supporting actor was Barry Keoghan for The Banshees of Inisherin. Also very much, actually just a smidge nasty on that one. So pretty much only white winners. In fact, I'm pretty sure the whole thing was just white winners, and which isn't too controversial for the BAFTAs, given that we are It is a British organisation
Mhm.
and should realistically be celebrating British films. No one's going to be shocked when the African Film Awards award Who Saved Captain Alex? Who Shot Captain Alex?
I don't know that film.
Wakali Wood. I'm pretty sure it's on YouTube. You should watch it. It's magnificent. No one's surprised when Wakali Wood gives awards to its own. Everyone just kind of expects it. But when it's
I'm
English
sure
or when it's
Bollywood
Western,
has their own award show as well.
I'd be shocked if it wasn't just all Indian people being
I
awarded.
kind of think that that's kind of the point of having the award shows that are independent of the global ones, right? Is that you're focusing on a specific group of people.
And also, these award ceremonies in the first place are no different, and this has been pointed out by many people before. I think it was Red Letter Media that I got this from. It is no different than, say, if we went to a podcasting award show, or if you're a part of a manufacturing organisation, if they decided to put on a big big event for everybody and celebrate who was most productive, who was best staff member. It's no different than that. It's a patting yourself on the back exercise that nobody should pay attention to and nobody should care about. But
I, for one, want my podcasting award. Thank you very much.
As do I. There are podcasting
I want a
award
medal.
ceremonies.
I want a trophy.
There are podcasting award ceremonies, but they're hosted by the sorts of people that I went to university with, so we are not going to be getting any awards anytime soon, I can promise you that. But have we considered that none of the winners were black?
I haven't.
And sadly, this has been a very stupid argument for a long time. This is something that's happened to the Oscars as well. It always happens. They just do award ceremony name, so white, as a hashtag. The Academy nominees group photo brings Oscars so white into focus. And look at this image right here. Oh, look at all those pale, pasty faces. God, it's sickening, isn't it? Seeing a line of grinning white Hollywood faces makes it harder to break the debate down into one about individual omissions. That sentence makes no sense at all.
That went straight over my head, to be honest.
So, because of the fact that he looks at this and sees only white people, this apparently makes the author of this article so furious that he can't think straight enough to think to himself, maybe they only got nominated because they made the best. That maybe they just made the best things. Maybe they made the best films or gave the best performances.
Don't you know that meritocracy is racist, though?
Yes, it is.
It's a product of white supremacy, actually.
Interesting.
If you haven't heard.
I love this. Cheryl Bone Isaacs, the president of the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, who seems to have added the word beleaguered to her job title, said before the lunch, "This year we know there's an elephant in the room. I have asked the elephant to leave. If there had been an elephant in the room, however, it would have been one of the few African or Asian representatives present." What a sentence.
That's quite funny. I'll give him credit there.
What a brilliant sentence. There's an African elephant in the room.
I mean,
Oprah just in the corner, feeling very called out.
I mean, you can't say we don't give credit where credit is due.
I mean, yeah, I mean, that's... The problem is that this is what happens when these organisations and these award ceremonies decide that they're going to give a certain amount of nominees or set certain parameters for the films that they can award shows to, purely based off of the back of diversity quotas, and you just need to hit a line. You need to have this many black people involved. You need to depict these kinds of relationships. You need to have this amount of people of a diverse background involved in the production. But then the awards end up going to majority white productions anyway, because if you have those films that are entirely based around diversity in the first place, the likelihood is they're focusing more on diversity than making a good film.
Yeah,
it's shocking.
Funnily enough, I would rather watch a good film than judge it based on the ethnicity of the people who star in it. I'd happily watch a good original African-based film and following an African tribe. I actually think that'd be quite refreshing.
It would be interesting.
Because I've not really seen that.
To be fair, though, we did get that with The Woman King.
Yeah.
And they still messed it up. It's not good. No, how about this? One of my favourite comedies from the 80s is Coming to America. Set around Eddie Murphy playing an African prince coming to America so that he can experience life outside of his indigenous culture, and he ends up falling in love with an American woman. It's very sweet, very wholesome, very funny. At no point in the film was I just thinking, not enough white people, though. I was laughing my arse off. I was really enjoying myself. But at no point was I thinking to myself, Clint Eastwood would really improve this. It's a nonsense. It's a nonsense thing to say.
When I was watching the film Old Boy, I was thinking there are too many South Koreans in this film. I need more white people.
What a shock! I know.
Obviously not.
Obviously not. And this has happened at the BAFTAs before as well, like in 2020 when Joaquin Phoenix gave an insufferable speech. Let's just play it because I hate this attitude.
I feel very honored and privileged to be here tonight. BAFTAs have always been very supportive of my career, and I'm deeply appreciative. But I have to say that I also feel conflicted because so many of my fellow actors that are deserving don't have that same privilege. I think that we send a very clear message to people of color that you're not welcome here. I think that's the message that we're sending to people that have contributed so much to our medium and our industry and in ways that we benefit from. I don't think anybody wants a handout or preferential treatment, although that's what we give ourselves every year. I think that people just want to be acknowledged and appreciated and respected for their work. This is not a self-righteous condemnation because I'm ashamed to say that I'm part of the problem.
I don't know why it's
I have
so
not
funny.
done everything in my power to ensure that the sets I work on are inclusive, but I think that it's more than just having sets that are multicultural. I think that we have to really do the hard work to truly understand systemic racism.
Oh God, he's so nervous as well, isn't he?
Obligation
You'd think he'd be able to
of the people that have created and perpetuate and benefit from a system of oppression to be the ones that dismantle it. So that's on us. Thank you.
Where's Ricky Gervais when you need him?
Yeah, I know, right?
It made me laugh when it just cut to a really intense, sweaty Adam Driver.
It's the stone faces. They all take themselves so seriously. Fart huffers. Every last one of them in that. Imagine how that room smelt at that moment with all of them collectively huffing their gas. I think you, Mr. Viewer, watching this right now, I speak for you when I say to Joaquin Phoenix, piss off. I mean, seriously, the faux victimhood that he's putting on himself, the way that he's trying to make himself, we're part of the problem, so we have to be the solution. No, right. As somebody who has been creative for a long time, you'll understand this as well. If I want to take pride in work that I've done, I don't need a room full of gormless morons to hand me an award for the sake of it, just because, we're not trying to just hand out awards. You're saying hand out awards. That's what he's saying right there. We do it to ourselves every year. No, you're not. Joaquin Phoenix was accepting a BAFTA for his performance in The Joker. That was an award-winning performance, Joaquin. You should be proud of that performance. Nobody just looked at you and went, skinny white guy, he's our guy. Nobody did that. Nobody did that. I mean, for the love of God, you get pride out of your creations for the sake of knowing that you've created something great. And you don't need the approval of your peers to really understand that. I'm going to refer to a man that I'm not a particularly big fan of right now. Lou Reed. You need to take the Lou Reed approach to things when you're a creative, because Lou Reed did not care. He did not care about approval from anybody else.
I mean, he was a heroin addict. I think that's taking not caring to...
No, I'm not saying that you should go out and take heroin. I'm saying that when your approach in your approach to how you deal with these things as a creative, you should take the Lou Reed approach. He did not care. He even released Metal Machine Music, which is literally an hour of white noise, just because he felt like it, and he didn't need the approval of anybody else. He was a mad raving leftist, yes, but he had the right attitude when it came to dealing with the press, which is basically tell them to go away because you don't understand, you're not creative anyway. I mean, honestly. But with the BAFTAs, the most recent one, we've got more articles. Layla Latif says BAFTA's all-white winners lineup is shocking and it needs to learn diversity is more than just statistics. And what is it then? Literally, it's defined by we need this percentage of people to be this colour.
Mm-hmm.
That's statistics.
I mean, even if this was a perfectly objective award ceremony, just inevitably by the demographic makeup of the UK, that could statistically happen, right? I mean, even if it was just a random thing where they didn't choose on merit, it was just calculated randomly, this random actor or actress wins this award. No judgment whatsoever, it's just a computer deciding randomly. You could still end up with
if we set the AI
that.
to it, we're going to get some bad results, man.
That's true.
The AIs, they don't do well on the race tests. BAFTA took on criticism and got to work, setting goals for 50-50 gender balance in its membership, 20% minority ethnic groups, 12% disabled peoples, and 10% LGBTQI+, by the year 2025. And where the 2023 Academy Awards nominations ignored the work of Gina Prince Bythewood, no idea who that is, and actors Viola Davis and Danielle Deadwyler, no idea who that Danielle woman is, the BAFTAs recognised them in the nominations. Oh, so inclusive. We should be proud as a nation.
I like how they've listed the percentages, like Stalin would list his coal production figures for his 5-year plans. We want this number and this number.
Is there any reason for that number specifically? No, it just sounds good.
It's just arbitrary, that's why.
Yep. Much was made of the red carpet arrivals. Davis in a shimmering purple cape, Michelle Yeoh dripping in jewels, Angela Bassett in gargantuan lilac sleeves, and Kei Kwan radiating his signature enthusiasm. The night was set to show the Oscars just what they were missing, and then they brought them in all just to sit there as they lost anyway. It does kind of make it sound like one gigantic prank. We'll set up all these diversity quotas, we'll get you in the building, and then you're going to lose anyway. Know your place! That's what it feels like. And do you want to know who they've really left out of here? So in 2023, the British film still seems resistant to change, almost like we want to celebrate British artists and not foreigners, to reimagining what gets made and what is celebrated. Some of our best filmmakers, such as Terence Davis and Joanna Hogg, are studiously ignored by BAFTA voters, and black British directors Menelik Shabazz, Horace Ove, and Ngozi Onwurah,
these are household names, of course.
Yes, innovated without the support of many of the bodies that purport to champion British film. Now, would you like to see the most recent film by Menelik Shabazz? Pharaohs Unveiled, which I think
we was Kangs of the movie.
No, we was Pharaohs. This is the same.
Do you realise that this didn't happen?
Well, according to our racist reinterpretation of history, history was written by white people to celebrate white people, which is why we which is why we set
famous white history of North Africa.
Yeah, which is why we set indigenous Egyptians as the heroes of their own stories.
I mean, other than the descendants of the general of Alexander the Great, Ptolemy. I mean, other than that, it is basically Middle Eastern people, right?
I mean, realistically speaking, there seems to be some mix, and some AI recreations seem to make one of them, I forget which one, look a lot like you.
That was Akhenaten, I think. Oh no, it's Ramses II, I think.
Yes. So we have a pharaoh in our midst.
I actually had an Egyptian send me a message in response, just like, you white people, you're trying to claim that all of our heritage was white. And I was just like, no, I'm not. I just thought it was funny. And they're like, oh, all right, never mind.
Oh, there you go. It's simple enough, but this is the kind of filmmaking that, shockingly, we're ignoring. I mean, I need to go and watch Pharaohs Unveiled. This can be my reparations. My reparations can be watching Pharaohs Unveiled. And you know it will be reparations, because reparations are supposed to be a punishment, okay? They're supposed to be a punishment in the form of apology. And I know that watching Pharaohs Unveiled will definitely be punishing at that. And we got Dr. Shola moment as well. After mentioning her in the last segment, she said that every BAFTA winner is white is not shocking. It's intentional to exclude and discriminate. So very British. And then we've got all of these smiling British people's faces, and we've got a few on the outlines, but I see no problem with this. Shockingly, I see no problem with this. I think you should cope and seethe, anyone who actually gets annoyed about this. And even then, in the first place, the awards ceremonies are pointless. Just leave it alone. It's a load of fat, rich wankers patting themselves on the back.
If you appreciated that segment from the podcast The Lotus Eaters, you can go to lotuseaters.com to get access to all the premium content we have on the site, such as the Epoch series, this one on conquering Everest. And if you'd like to find out what else we're putting out, you can follow us on Getter at lotuseaters_com on Getter. Thank you and goodbye.